heroes, Fanny, Hilda, the usual band. Suyo first pick for BTR. You got that Phobius, Harif, and Loi banned by Papa Supermassive, which is pretty interesting because Supermassive, when they played Onyx, they actually let Loi through both games, but right now I guess BTR, they actually banned it out. And they picked the Granger for themselves.
Yeah, I think they know and they learned as well that Moreno really likes the Luo. They do not want to gamble that. But Papara Supermassive here opting Kalea and a Granger. I think it's the norm now, right? If Kalea is a second pick hero, you rarely see. Well, you see sometimes Kalea being prioritized, but it's more often in that second pick. Bigatron, what did they respond with here with the Granger and Kalea? I expected the Cho or the Jawhead here, and then the Gold Lane. The Harith is open. Oh no, the Harith is not open, so perhaps an Erithel for Eman, or we might see a Beatrix later on from Eman.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Erithel Cho as well. Both are heroes that Eman and Like are really comfortable with. There's the Jawhead for Light, and of course I think that's the Ducati skin for Erithel. So you're right on the money, Gani. You get the Joy for Papara Supermassive to close out the first phase. Like earlier today during the pre-show, we looked at Kalea's win rate, 45.5% out of 11 picks. Why is it so? Because I feel like even you expected Kalea to have a better performance on day one.
Here's the thing with Kalea. I think at least not a lot of teams can really deliver on this Kalea. Sometimes it's forced, right? I feel like most teams here, they pick the Kalea so the other team doesn't pick it up, right? Who is perhaps stronger on paper, and that's why sometimes the Kalea is somehow they're forced to pick that hero, which maybe the roamer isn't really comfortable just yet, and that's why hence the negative win rate with this Kalea.
It could be so. We've seen some very varying successes. Let's see if this one is going to be any different, right? Bloodspat has had a shaky day one and day two. Yesterday he had a great montage with a Badang roam, but today Bloodspat, at least against Onyx PH, has been completely shut down. See if you can kind of recover from that. We get the Lucas ban, so it's massive is Supermassive, even though Lucas has only been used in the jungle by Moji. We haven't seen Wasa do it just yet, and even Wasa kind of feels like is one of the weaker links from the team, right? You put him on you put him on heroes like Kilda, Badang, and sometimes he does struggle even from the laning phase.
Yeah, that's the thing with Wasa. I think he needs to have a cleaner game, especially here. Now, Papara Supermassive, their game plan in the second phase, very clear. Let's limit the mid laners here with the Pheromones, with the Valentina. They want a Moreno to perhaps play the Vex or the Auroras, right? But do keep in mind, the Selena is still up and available for Bigatron.
I think in a way, Papara Supermassive can also consider the Selena as well. We've seen, I think Bosi, they do play the Odette. I'm not really sure if that's what they want, but there is a universe where you have the Kalea Odette combo, right? Like you just bring them straight into the Swan Song and just drown them in the damage. I can see that happening. You get a Juicin ban now by Bigatron as well, finally. So yeah, Papara Supermassive, they have plenty of choices to go with, honestly. You want a setup with the Kalea, you want a follow-up to the Kalea, in fact, like a Burst Mage, like Vex, Farsa, to their flavor, the Odette also works as well.
Yeah, I think now if they want to double down on range, they can go for the Farsa, the Odettes, right? The Swan Song is a nuisance. Going up against a dive composition like the Suyo, like a Jawhead, Odette can, with timing, of course, do well against the divey heroes. Papara Supermassive, though, I think they should open their mid here. No, they're opening the EXP, though. Glue.
So they go for the glue instead. Maybe, yeah, so now the Pheromones ban makes total sense. You blind pick a glue, which overall should be fine. I don't see anyone from Bigatron having enough resources to take glue down just yet. If that's the case, then Bigatron, what is the response? So there's no Hilda, no Lucas, no Phobius. You generally don't pick Phobius anyways. What is that to do with the glue? Badang?
CC perhaps if they want to win the lane in the EXP. Gatot Kacha is also available. It's gonna be the Badang and the Farsa.
Okay, so Badang Farsa is the choice. I guess Farsa is not too bad as well. Obviously, you need to be worried, a bit cautious about what the Kalea can reach you. The range coverage is pretty huge, but taking the Farsa away is, I think, a win for Bigatron. So Yves would be the choice for Papara Supermassive. The classic Farsa Yves matchup in that mid lane.
It's going to be nasty. It's going to be, I guess, right? It's going to be an action-packed early game here. Looking at the heroes, you got the Jawhead, you got the Joy as well, who will definitely, if available, it can be invasive. Let's see though, they have the Badang. Crowd control can definitely win you games. Let's see how Bigatron goes about this.
Yeah. So we get ready for game 1, Goni. I want to get your thoughts on this, right? Like, how does the draft look like? What are the teams looking for?
Of course, right? With the Suyo, you want that early farming pattern on point, and also Joy as well. But with the Jawhead, I think Suyo has an advantage. So that early lead, early tempo, Bigatron, they will try to control that turtle, and hopefully they can snowball from there.
Yeah, looking for Bigatron again, see if they can exploit the weaknesses of Papara Supermassive. They have had the time to do homework on their opponents based off of just a reference point from Onyx PH. This is going to be the important series for both teams. We're gonna have a bit of a pause before we get the game started, so some extra time for the teams to make sure that everything is going well. I believe the might be some issues with Luke's phone, so more space for us to kind of discuss about what the teams are going to look for. I know Papara Supermassive with this glue pick that we've seen a couple of times in the group stage, but with varying degrees of success. I think most of the glue games have not really ended up in a win.
So this is why Papara Supermassive, they're taking a huge gamble here with the glue pick. With Wasa piloting as well. So let's see here, can he deliver on that glue? Looking at the heroes though, right? Glue can definitely be an annoyance, right? Be a nuisance towards that Farsa. If, let's say, the Farsa wings by wings already used, spell is already used, and that glue can definitely apply pressure with that slam, potentially the split. I do expect the Farsa to rock the Purify. So yeah, let's see here how Wasa go about this with this glue.
Yeah, at least you are guaranteed some lane dominance, right? I think that's going to be point number 1. Getting into the Badang, but then again, it does feel like it is going to be a bit of a dead lane scenario where Badang and glue is just going to be this wet noodle fight, and Badang, you're going to be looking for the Thunder Belt and start kind of stacking out their resistance. I do expect Luke to potentially go for the tenacity, right? The 5% damage reduction, under 50% right now, looking hella valuable for someone who needs the front line consistently.
Okay. I see your point, but it seems like Luke is almost ready here. And yeah, giving the thumbs up. Everyone's giving the thumbs up, and I think we are heading to the Land of Dawn very soon.
It's be exciting. I mean, Papara Supermassive feeling the heat a little bit. It really comes down to kind of that early game jungle, right? Having that Joy in the Joy into Suyo, the classic matchup. One thing I would give credit to Supermassive is Moji's ability to adjust. At least we've seen a glimpse of that when they were behind and they were losing their jungle left, right, and center. Moji has been able to readjust his pathing to try and keep up as much as he can. Let's see if he can do it again. Game 1, here we go. BTR against Papara Supermassive.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are enjoying Stream C. Last match here, Indo versus Turkey. Who will take the first game? Well, you can see here the junglers, they opt for an opposite start, right? Purple for Annabelle, orange for Mochi, and yeah, it seems like all quiet. First minute.
Seems like Papara have adjusted their start a little bit, right? Because usually Kalea, you can just put her to leash the second buff, and she's not gonna lose any HP thanks to the passive heal she gets. But after dealing with Vonic Philippines, they decided it's better to stick together because you don't want to invade from the enemy team. Either way, Annabelle is gonna hit 4 pretty soon. I believe they did get the Little Wanderer just now as well. The Paparazzo Massive will be slightly behind, but not too far.
3 assassins, though. Suyo, Badang, and Erythel here. 3 assassin emblems, right? So seems like Bigatron Esports, they want to have more damage, more kill pressure. Paparazzo Massive, let's see what will their items priority, especially on that defense. Seems like Papara going on a move, though. No first blood here for the first minute.
Taking it pretty slow. Of course, I think with Bloodsped around yesterday, something that was established that is, as Kalea, you want that bush control as much as you can, but with Turtle coming up, both teams gathering near the pit.
Yeah, and for now, it seems like Bigatron, they have more control in that river. I wonder if Papara Supermassive, they want to take over, or will they concede this one? Seems like they want to contest.
Turtle down low, to be a red tree fight. Of course, Annabelle will win that one. His crack used already, and now Luke to be able to back off. Split use. Wasa getting trapped again by the wall. Forced to flicker himself. Bloodsped follows up with his own. Annabelle now finds his way to the purple buff, and the invade has commenced. BTR taking priority. Luke missing his flicker combo, but it doesn't matter. They still got what they came for.
Clean sequence there from the side of Bigatron, taking the turtle, not losing anyone in the process as well. And after that, they went on being greedy, taking the purple, and Papara Supermassive could not respond well.
And this is going to be first blood for sure. Annabelle picks that up, set up by Luke.
Even though Luke has no flicker, in the mid lane.
Tsunami Slam, Light trying to get away with the eject button, but RWN secures his fate. Of course, forcing out the Feather Airstrike 2, 1-for-1. Moji, again, we talk about his pathing. Need to get this purple buff as soon as he can. We'll get the retribution in. Good trade by the Turkish.
Wow, Papara Supermassive, not just finding any compensation, right? They win the trades. They got Light, who has not have a flicker just yet, and also they got the purple, so it's kind of a revenge on the purple buff take earlier on. Bigatron Esports, though, still leading in gold.
Just is 1.5 to 1.7k range. Of course, quite a big deal early on. The next purple buff will be spawning in just 10 seconds. So Papara Supermassive making sure that they guard that buff right now, because Annabelle is running away with the experience lead, 1 level ahead of Moji at this point of time. Second turtle spawning bottom, just like the first one. So at least in terms of where the objective is showing up, it is beneficial for Papara Supermassive. They don't have to make that long rotation since they did start with the orange at level 1. Now they are going to be in position to contest. Oh, flicker into a toss that's dead. Bloodsped not able to do anything. And Papara Supermassive losing control of the turtle already. Not really sure if they want to continue holding control. Wasa gonna go in flicker with the pass slam. Now into the split, trying to stick to a target. It's Annabelle and Luke. He decides to stick on to Annabelle, bringing him back into his team. But Papara Supermassive not really ready to take on this fight. The rest of the team not there yet, and now the rotation comes in. Cell will be there. Bloodsped just revive. Will be a long drawn out fight. Annabelle gets the turtle again. Luke with a 2-man setup into a wall. Both teams disengage.
Wow, only Bloodsped, right, was the casualty there, and it was early as well. But the turtle goes to the red robots once again. Mid lane, a potential fight.
Another setup, and burst damage coming out allows Moreno to take out Xiao. And Light taking control of the bush as well. Papara Supermassive once more late to the fight and ends up losing more than they wanted. Bot tier 1 falls.
Disgusting set by Luke earlier. And Papara Supermassive here, slightly dismantled. They're losing 3k the first 5 minutes here, not looking too hot. And yeah, Bigatron staying composed here, only losing a kill earlier, right? Only Light was the only casualty for now. And let's see here, Papara Supermassive earlier, they got compensation. They got a win in Light and that purple, will they be able to somehow find another win after a turtle, or will they actually lose more control in the map?
So far, even in terms of net worth, majority of it comes from that gold lane, a 1k lead for Emman over Cell. Now they're going to spill that attention to the top side. And this was something that we've seen from Papara Supermassive in the whole group stage, where when they start falling behind, like Wasa will be forced to abandon his lane and act as kind of a secondary utility, secondary roamer even. So he's not getting the resources that he wants. And this glue is running that impure rage as well. The idea is to dominate the lane at least, but he's not able to do that. Kaido strike into Tsunami Slam, a big snipe onto Luke, and somehow survives after that. He's gonna commit his flicker. The toss from Light to try and save Luke, but Luke still goes down. Valiant attempt, but Papara Supermassive gets a punish.
Wow, it's somehow similar to that first encounter, right? Papara Supermassive getting slight compensation here, but now the last turtle.
Gonna go on to Light, he flickers, gets a toss on the after dark. What a selection from Light to find the kill. Wasa tries to go on Fist Snake, but cannot do so. HP running out. Moji tries to electrify his target. Will get a 1-for-1 trade, but not really sure if that's the most worth it one, because Turtle will be given over to BTR, and at the end of the day, it's Papara on the losing side.
Yeah, perfect turtle here for Annabelle and friends. And yeah, Papara Supermassive now taking a lot of heat, and their mid will fall early here, 7 minutes in. Not a good sign. Now, Papara Supermassive, what can they do? Now, all they can do is just clump up, wait for perhaps a potential pickoff if Bigatron Esports, if their member is out of position. And let's just hope for the best, right? All they can do is just funnel goal to Xiao and hope Xiao to get that power spike as soon as possible.
They're gonna lose their buff again, the purple buff. So Annabelle now getting another level lead, 2 levels ahead of Moji at this point of time. 5.6k gold lead at 8-minute mark. And even Luke having the time of his life on his Badang, right? Thunderbelt into an Oracle, knowing that no one can stop him, no one can take him down. We see that first item, Dom Eyes by Wasa. It's not exactly the item sequence that you see nowadays. But still, Light, the Conceal broken.
Let's see here. Bigatron, they have enough firepower to force a fight.
Luke actually missing the Fist Crack. Now he's going to get trapped by the RWM. Executed by the Sky Piercer. A bit of a punish by Papara Supermassive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Papara Supermassive, they need to be ready when Bigatron makes a mistake. And for now, top lane finally taken down. So that's the first turret here. But it's going to be a 1v1 with Moreno in hand.
Wow, committing the flicker. They really want Moji and they will get it. Great understanding of that reach. Not really the death you want. I really felt like Moji's taking half a second to recall there caused his death.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Good read though. Bigatron Esports, they understand that, yeah, Moji, you might get a turret, but let's find a better trade, right? Taking down their jungler while the Lord is up right now.
Okay, so Light gets baited by Buzzfed, but with Emman showing up, the damage is definitely there. Wasa cannot stay in the fight. Pretty rare you see Glue getting chunked down that fast. Papara Supermassive losing control of the Lord, and without Wasa around, not really sure how they're going to do this. No Tsunami Slam. Conceal use Buzzfed, getting information. Lu's going to trap him. Buzzfed retreats. Lord for BTR.
A free one, all right? 3 turtles for free, and now the Lord, the first Lord, rather free for Bigatron Esports. What they can do right now for Bigatron is not throw the game. Don't, they're passive, right? Big throw. Hopefully, Bigatron is disciplined in that department, but Papara Supermassive, slowly but surely, again, just funnel goal, right? Defense, defense, defense. Wait for an overextension, then capitalize, but nothing much that they can do for now.
Yeah, see, I thought that Cell would have been able to keep that holy defense alive, but there was a second wave, so that one's going to break. Lord from bot side. It's just the first one. Moji mid looking for Moreno, misses the dash, and now forced to retreat. Light did use to conceal. Lord will be taken care of. Bot side, mid tier 2 goes down. Top should follow next, but at least for Papara Supermassive, they were able to keep that mid holy defense up. So all things considered, it's a pretty uneventful first Lord for BTR. Papara Supermassive doing their due diligence.
Yeah, I mean, Granger and Yves, right? Even though they're behind, but they can definitely do work on the defense. And yeah, it shows that Bigatron, even though they didn't get to touch the mid and top base turret, it's still an 8,000 gold lead here. Take a look at Amon, man. 2,500 gold lead, and that's a lot, considering that this is just 11 minutes in. Has claws already in hand as well, so a more chance to survive here and there. Let's see again, right? It seems like they want to invade, but Moji, calmly done. Retribution backs off.
Eman sitting, swimming in gold right now. Moji needs to catch up to that level 15. It's gonna take a while, and most likely won't get it before the next Lord. And I do like BTR. They are not hard shoving the wave. They're letting the wave naturally develop, which means that Papara Supermassive, if they want to get any resources, it's going to be in the lanes and they have to walk up. But no one is willing to do that because it's so dangerous with people like and Luke around.
Yeah, they're freezing lanes, right? Bottom side, completely neutral. Top lane is perhaps the only breathing area for Papara to funnel the gold, either to Moji or Xiao or both. All right, now, minute number 12 here. Again, Papara Supermassive, they're way behind on objective is 80-20, I feel like, current map. The map is blue. And yeah, Bigatron Esports taking it slow. They do not want to throw this game one. And if they keep it clean, it should be a decisive win after this Lord.
This game kind of feels untrollable, honestly. You never know, though. We did see that conceal that really amount to nothing. Lord started now. Moji won't hit 15 on time, so he has to try and contest this with a level disadvantage. And BTR, they're not in a rush to kind of blitz the Lord down. They're just gonna wait. Top run Supermassive. The more people they show on the map, the harder BTR will commit. Now they see two members on top. It's Lord time. Papara would just have to play defense.
Yeah, I think that's the wiser move as well, right? Knowing behind 9K, Papara Supermassive will not take any chances. They'd rather bank and they'd rather gamble their defense. Technically, spells are all up here for almost all 10 members, so we might see a big fight here when the Lord touches the base. Or is Papara cooking something here in their own jungler? Perhaps they want a fast fight before the Lord touches their base turret.
Yeah, very good positioning. It's a good kidnap. Lost but still gets away. A flicker onto Wasa. I want to look for life, but Emma is just pelting him with the heavy crossbows. Is there going to be a trade potential though? It seems like Emma is just going to wait. Not going to attack Wasa. And now Wasa actually held hostage by his own team. Meanwhile, they lost Bloodspat. Light and Emma would take out Wasa. 2 dead for Papara Supermassive as NML works on the top inhibitor. Barely defended as Cell picks up a fresh Sea Halberd. 5v3, 20 seconds for Bloodspat. Flickers in! What a setup by Luke to eviscerate the remaining members of Papara Supermassive. And just like that, Gani, Bigatron Esports will take game 1.
Wow! What a set from Luke. Got 3 with the flicker, and that seals the deal. Bigatron, they will take game 1 in a very